Welcome to my channel Old Valuable Coins. If you've ever held a 5-cent coin, you might be holding a treasure worth millions. Today we're talking about the rarest and most valuable nickel in US history, a coin so scarce that only a few examples exist. Some rare 5-cent coins from the early 1900s, including legendary varieties with minting mistakes, have sold for jaw-dropping prices at major auctions. Collectors look for details like the year, the mint mark, and unusual features that appear only on mystery strikes or experimental pieces. Always check your nickels carefully, because one rare variety hiding in pocket change could turn into a life-changing discovery. Your small 5-cent coin might be worth a fortune today. Coin number 1, the 1938 5-cent coin from the United States, known worldwide as the first year of the Jefferson Nickels series, is one of the most searched, most collected, and most historically important coins in American numismatics. In this video, we will explore the full story of the 1938 nickel, why collectors continue to chase rare variations, how small mint differences can create huge value, and what makes this first-year issue such a powerhouse in the coin collecting world. The 1938 nickel replaced the Buffalo nickel after 25 years of circulation, marking a brand new era of design, symbolism, and modern minting. This coin features the portrait of Thomas Jefferson on the obverse and the famous Monticello on the reverse, creating one of the most iconic designs in US coin history. Collectors love the 1938 nickel for its beauty, historical debut, and surprising rarity in high-quality examples. When we look at the background of the 1938 5-cent coin, the transition from Buffalo nickels was due to striking challenges, design issues, and heavy wear on older dies. The US Mint decided it was time for a new look. Felix Schlag won the competition to design the new Jefferson nickel, and the final version we see today came from his inspired vision of honoring one of America's most influential founding fathers. The first year of any coin series always attracts interest, and the 1938 nickel is no exception. Many collectors choose this coin to begin their Jefferson nickel collection because it represents the start of a long-running series still in production today. Now let's explore the mint locations for the 1938 nickel. The coin was struck at 3 mints: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The Philadelphia 1938 nickel carries no mint mark and is the most common of the three, making it widely available for collectors. The 1938D nickel from the Denver Mint is scarcer but highly popular, especially in strong strikes with sharp details. The 1938S nickel from the San Francisco Mint has the lowest mintage of the three, making it a key piece for anyone completing a full Dayton mint mark collection. These differences in mintage and availability greatly influence how collectors view the rarity of each version. The value of the 1938 nickel depends on several major factors such as the mint mark, strike quality, condition, and special die characteristics. Coins from this year can show strong steps on Monticello, a detail collectors call full steps, and examples with crisp, sharp steps can bring significantly more value. The design includes fine architectural lines that are often weakly struck on other years, but in 1938 the new dies created many strong, appealing examples. These sharp details make certain coins far more desirable. Some examples from the Denver and San Francisco mints are especially well known for strong strike characteristics, and collectors search for these high-quality pieces every day. Another reason the 1938 nickel is so important is because it holds a unique position in early Jefferson nickel production. The mint was testing new dies, experimenting with hardness, pressure, and spacing, and the results were coins with above-average clarity. That makes the 1938 nickel a standout coin for anyone who values eye appeal. Over time, many of these coins remained in good condition because people saved first-year issues for future collectability. Today, these saved pieces form the core of high-quality 1938 nickel collections. We also cannot ignore the historical context of 1938. America was coming out of the Great Depression, working to rebuild the economy, and strengthening national pride. The choice of Thomas Jefferson, one of the principal authors of the Declaration of Independence and the visionary behind American liberty and expansion, was deeply symbolic. The Monticello design on the reverse reminds Americans of Jefferson's legacy and architectural brilliance. These details give the coin a deeper meaning, making it more than just a piece of metal. It is a representation of national identity and a new beginning during a challenging period in history. Collectors also search for die varieties in the 1938 nickel series. While major varieties are not as numerous as in later years, experienced collectors still look for small differences in die polishing marks, over-polished steps, and minor doubling that can increase interest. These subtle details create strong demand among variety specialists. Even tiny variations can add a premium because they reflect the unique minting conditions of the first year. As we move deeper into the world of this coin, we discover that the 1938 nickel is an excellent entry point into collecting Jefferson nickels. Its availability, historical importance, and attractive design make it perfect for beginners and advanced collectors. Many people build full collections starting with this year, and some build specialized sets focusing only on first-year issues. Others enjoy searching coin rolls, estate collections, and old family jars to find unexpected treasures from 1938. This date is one of the most rewarding to search for because amazing examples still turn up. The metal composition of the 1938 nickel is 75% copper and 25% nickel. This alloy gives the coin durability and the classic silver-gray color. Unlike later wartime nickels that used silver, the 1938 nickel stayed with the standard composition. The weight and thickness of the coin remain consistent with most modern nickels, making it familiar in the hand and instantly recognizable. The long-term popularity of the 1938 5-cent coin continues to grow as more collectors appreciate early Jefferson nickels. As the series becomes more widely studied, high-quality coins from the first few years gain more visibility and demand. Many collectors focus on strikes with exceptional sharpness, stunning luster, and eye-catching detail, especially around the steps of Monticello and Jefferson's portrait. Coins preserved for decades in collections often show the best surfaces, making them prized by enthusiasts. This coin also attracts interest because it bridges two iconic designs, the classic Buffalo nickel and the modern Jefferson nickel. Collectors who appreciate American history love the contrast between the rugged frontier design of the Buffalo and the refined portrait of Jefferson. The 1938 nickel stands at that crossroads, representing both nostalgia and progress. Its legacy has extended for more than 85 years, and the demand for attractive examples remains strong. Many people wonder where the highest value lies. Generally, coins from the San Francisco and Denver mints in strong condition with crisp detail bring the highest interest. Full steps examples are especially desirable. Toned pieces with natural coloration, such as golden, blue, or violet highlights, can also attract attention because they stand out visually and show long-term preservation. Collectors prefer coins with smooth surfaces, original luster, and minimal marks. The 1938 nickel is also significant because it marks the beginning of one of the longest-running coin designs in U.S. history. The Jefferson nickel has remained essentially unchanged for decades. Holding a 1938 nickel connects collectors to the very first chapter of this long story. Even today, millions of people handle modern nickels without realizing the design roots go back to this original 1938 issue. Coin number 2. Imagine holding a 1945-cent coin from the United States, a classic Jefferson nickel that has fascinated collectors for generations. Today, we're diving deep into the history, value, key details, mint varieties, errors, and the most profitable discoveries collectors talk about when it comes to the 1940 nickel. This coin may look simple, but its story is packed with historical meaning, minting secrets, and hidden treasures that can still surprise anyone who takes the time to examine it closely. Many collectors search for rare 1940 nickels because some examples, especially those with unique errors or top condition, can sell for impressive prices. In this video, we'll explore everything related to the 1940 Jefferson nickel so you can understand what makes this year so important and what to look for in your own coins. The 1945-cent coin was struck during a period of major changes in the United States. Just before America entered World War II, the mint was producing millions of coins for the economy, and the Jefferson nickel series was only a few years old at the time. The design features the familiar portrait of Thomas Jefferson on the front, created by sculptor Felix Schlag. On the reverse is Jefferson's famous home, Monticello, a design known for its straight lines that often appear weakly struck. The details of Monticello are crucial when evaluating any 1940 nickel, because sharp lines, strong steps, and clean lettering can dramatically improve a coin's desirability. Collectors always examine the steps on Monticello, often referred to as full steps, which indicate strong striking quality. The sharper those steps appear, the more premium a coin can bring on the market. The 1940 nickel was minted in 3 locations: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Each mint mark tells a different story. The Philadelphia version, with no mint mark, had the highest mintage, making it the most common of the 3. But even common coins can have special traits that attract attention. The Denver 1940D nickel is popular for its sharp designs and the potential for beautifully struck examples. The San Francisco 1940S nickel is known by collectors for its softer strikes, and well-preserved examples can be surprisingly valuable. Many collectors search for rolls or old jars hoping to find a 1940s with sharp detail because nicer examples can be much harder to find than people expect. Condition plays a huge role in determining the value of any 1945-cent coin. While circulated coins are common and usually worth a modest premium, uncirculated examples with brilliant original surfaces can be worth far more, especially if the steps on Monticello are well defined. Collectors love coins that have original mint luster, clean fields, and strong eye appeal. Even small differences in preservation can make a major difference in value. Some of the highest-selling 1,940 nickels were coins that looked almost untouched since they left the mint more than 80 years ago. The combination of age, shine, and rarity in high condition can make this coin surprisingly exciting. One of the most fascinating aspects of the 1940 nickel and a major keyword collectors search for is its errors and varieties. These minting mistakes or unusual features can dramatically raise a coin's value. One of the most well-known varieties is the 1940 doubled die. In doubled die coins, certain letters or details appear doubled due to a misalignment when the die was created. Collectors love these errors because they are visually striking and much rarer than regular strikes. Another popular error to look for is an off-center strike, where the design is shifted to one side. Off-center errors can vary from subtle to dramatic, and the more noticeable the shift, the more valuable the coin becomes. There are also die cracks, clipped planchets, repunched mint marks, and weak strike varieties that collectors seek out. Any unusual feature can make your 1940 nickel stand out from the rest. Many collectors wonder how much a 1940 nickel can actually be worth today. Common circulated examples may not sell for large amounts, but coins with exceptional details, strong steps, rare varieties, or unique errors have been known to reach impressive prices in auctions and private sales. The 1940D and 1940S coins in high-end condition are especially attractive because well-struck examples are much more challenging to find than many people realize. A coin with deep original luster, sharp lettering, and clean steps can catch the attention of serious collectors who value quality over quantity. Even though millions were minted, truly premium examples are rare survivors. Collectors also appreciate the 1940 nickel for its place in American history. This coin was part of everyday life during the late Great Depression era and just before the world changed dramatically during World War II. When you hold a 1940 nickel, you're holding a piece of the economic and cultural environment of that time. Imagine how many hands it passed through, how many purchases it made, and how different life was in 1940 America. This historical interest adds emotional and educational value to the coin, making it appealing to both beginners and experienced collectors. If you are searching your own coins, you should closely examine the date, the mint mark, the steps on Monticello, and the overall sharpness of the design. Look at the edges, the fields, and the lettering for any unusual marks that might indicate an error. Pay attention to the luster, whether the coin looks original, and whether it still has strong detail. A magnifier or simple coin loop can help you spot doubled features or repunched marks that might not be visible at first glance. Finding a rare error or high-grade coin in a collection, a family jar, or even loose change can be incredibly rewarding. Collectors often keep the 1940 nickel in their collections because it is affordable, historic, and full of potential for hidden treasures. Whether you enjoy hunting for rare coins, exploring interesting varieties, or learning about mint history, the 1945-cent coin offers plenty to discover. The key to success with this coin is knowledge, understanding what makes each mint variety special, recognizing rare features, and knowing what collectors look for when buying or selling. This classic Jefferson nickel continues to gain attention online as more collectors share their finds and search for rare examples. Keywords like rare 1940 nickel, 1940 nickel value, 1940D nickel, 1940S nickel, Jefferson 5-cent error coins, and 1940 nickel varieties draw thousands of searches every month. The more you learn about this coin, the better prepared you are to identify valuable pieces and appreciate the beauty of a simple 5-cent coin that has survived for over 8 decades. Coin number 3, the 1963 nickel, is part of the long-running Jefferson nickel series, a design that started in 1938 and remains recognizable to nearly every American. This coin features the profile of Thomas Jefferson on the front, designed by Felix Schlag, and the reverse showcases the iconic Monticello building, Jefferson's historic home. When people talk about classic American coinage, the 1963 5-cent coin is one of those pieces that often shows up in conversations due to its high mintage, historical importance, and the existence of valuable errors that can push the price far beyond face value. To understand the 1963 nickel, it's important to know what it's made of. Like other Jefferson nickels of the era, It consists of 75% copper and 25% nickel. In 1963, there was no silver in the nickel, so its value today mostly comes from collectors, rare die varieties, and unusual minting mistakes. Although millions of these coins were produced, only a small percentage survived in high-grade condition, which makes top-quality examples worth significantly more. Collectors often search for brilliant uncirculated pieces from 1963, especially those with strong strikes and clean surfaces. The 1963 nickel was produced at two different mints, the Philadelphia Mint, which struck coins with no mint mark, and the Denver Mint, which placed a small D mint mark to the right of Monticello on the reverse. Philadelphia struck a very large quantity of coins in 1963, over 175 million, while Denver produced even more, reaching over 276 million. With such large numbers, the average circulated coins you find today usually aren't rare, but high-grade pieces, and especially rare minting errors, are where collectors find real value. When collectors search online for valuable 1963 nickels, they're usually looking for errors. Mint errors can turn a common coin into a treasure worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Some of the most desirable errors include off-center strikes, double die obverse or reverse varieties, clipped planchets, and coins struck with die cracks or die breaks. One of the most famous and most searched-for varieties in this era is the doubled die Monticello, where the lettering or architectural lines appear doubled. Although extremely rare for 1963, if a doubled die exists, it becomes a high-value target for collectors. Another type of error worth discussing is the full steps designation. This is not a mint error but rather a measure of strike quality. On the reverse of the nickel, the steps of Monticello are often weakly struck. Only a small percentage of 1963 nickels show full steps. This tiny detail can dramatically increase the value of a coin in high grade. Collectors constantly search for 1963 nickels with strong, crisp steps on Monticello, as these pieces can sell for significantly more than regular uncirculated coins. The rarity of full steps nickels, especially from this era, makes them highly desirable. The condition of the coin is one of the biggest factors influencing value. Coins in poor condition typically hold little value, but 1963 nickels preserved in mint state condition can sell for premium prices. Collectors often send their coins for professional grading to verify condition and authentication, and high-grade examples with perfect luster, clean fields, and sharp details attract strong demand. Nickels graded at the highest levels are extremely rare, and those with full steps are even more impressive. Some of the highest auction results for 1963 nickels come from full-step specimens that achieved grades over MS66 or MS67. These coins stand out in the entire series. Let's talk more about the design details collectors pay attention to. The obverse features Jefferson facing left, with the word Liberty in cursive and the year 1963 to the right. Collectors look for sharp hair details, clean cheek surfaces, and strong lettering. Any weakness in the strike or heavy contact marks will lower the collectability. On the reverse, Monticello is the center of attention. Sharp lines on the building, clear lettering, and defined steps are all signs of a well-struck coin. Weakness on the steps, flattening on the dome, or blurry lettering indicates a lower quality strike. These details matter because collectors pay a premium for nickels that exhibit exceptional craftsmanship. Many collectors also love the historical context of the 1963 nickel. This was a time of great change in American history. It was 1 year before the introduction of new coinage and just before rising metal prices led to significant changes in U.S. coin production. The 1963 nickel represents the final years before the coinage industry shifted due to economic pressures in the mid-1960s. For many numismatists, the 1963 nickel feels like the end of an era, a last look at classic American coin design before major changes began. Another reason collectors enjoy the 1963 nickel is that it's accessible. It's a coin that anyone can search for in pocket change, coin rolls, and old collections. Even though most examples are common, the possibility of finding a valuable error, a high-grade specimen, or a full steps piece keeps collectors excited. Many beginners start their collecting journey with Jefferson Nickels because they're easy to find and offer a lot of opportunities to learn about mint marks, varieties, and grading. When it comes to market value, circulated 1963 nickels are usually worth only a few cents unless they contain errors. However, uncirculated examples can range anywhere from a couple of dollars to much higher amounts depending on condition. Rare errors, especially dramatic ones, can command impressive prices. A sharply struck full-step specimen in high grade can reach values far above average, making the 1963 nickel a sleeper coin that surprises many collectors. Another exciting part of collecting 1963 nickels is roll hunting. Searching through rolls of nickels from the bank gives collectors a chance to find coins that have been sitting unnoticed for decades. Sometimes these rolls include older nickels that slip through circulation, including pieces from the 1950s, 1940s, and even the 1930s. Finding a 1963 nickel in exceptional condition is rare, but the thrill of the hunt keeps collectors coming back. Roll hunting is also a popular topic of search among coin enthusiasts, making it another key point in SEO-optimized discussions of this coin. Collectors also like discussing satin-like finishes, die polishing marks, and the color and tone of 1963 nickels. Some coins develop unique natural toning over time, which can add visual appeal and increase desirability. Coins stored in old paper rolls may develop golden, blue, or rainbow hues. Although toning is subjective, many collectors love beautifully toned 1963 nickels, and these can sometimes sell for strong premiums. Understanding the demand for this coin is important to its overall value. Even though the 1963 nickel isn't rare in a general sense, the number of collectors seeking high-grade examples continues to grow. This growth is driven in part by online coin communities, increasing awareness of rare varieties, and the popularity of coin collecting on platforms like YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram. Coin number 4, and we will explore the 1964 5-cent coin, is one of the most historically significant nickels in modern coinage because it was struck during a transition period in U.S. minting history. Because of a national coin shortage happening at that time, the United States Mint produced more nickels in 1964 than any other year in the entire Jefferson Nickels series. Billions of these coins were minted, making them extremely common in circulation even today. However, despite the high mintage, there are still rare varieties, unusual minting characteristics, and hidden gems that make certain coins desirable to collectors. Understanding why requires taking a close look at the coin's design, the minting conditions, and the details that separate an ordinary coin from one that collectors consider rare and valuable. The obverse of the 1964 Jefferson nickel features the portrait of Thomas Jefferson, 3rd President of the United States, based on the original design introduced in 1938 by Felix Schlag. Over time, the design has been modified slightly, but in 1964 it still carried the classic and recognizable features: Jefferson facing left, with the inscriptions "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and the year 1964. The portrait sharpness, the clarity of the lettering, and the presence of full steps on Monticello are often the major factors collectors observe when determining the quality of a 1964 nickel. On the reverse of the 1964 nickel, Monticello stands as the centerpiece, Jefferson's historic home in Virginia. Collectors always pay close attention to the condition of Monticello, the strength of the columns, the clarity of the lettering, and especially the steps at the base. The phrase "E pluribus una" marches above it, while United States of America and 5 cents appear below. For Jefferson nickels, especially those from 1964, the presence of strong, sharp, fully defined steps known as full steps is considered one of the most important features because these coins were often struck weakly. Finding a 1964 nickel with full steps can be much more difficult than most people realize, and that's where some of the value begins to appear. The 1964 nickel was produced at 2 different mints, the Philadelphia Mint, which used no mint mark, and the Denver Mint, which used a small D mint mark on the reverse to the right of Monticello. Both mints produced enormous quantities, but the Denver Mint struck even more coins than Philadelphia. However, despite the huge numbers, collectors have found that certain strikes from each mint show better detail, sharper design elements, and fewer striking defects. These details become extremely important as collectors look for rare and valuable examples. Because the US Mint was trying to solve a nationwide coin shortage, the speed and pressure of minting in 1964 resulted in many coins being produced with weak strikes, die deterioration, and other imperfections. That means that most surviving 1964 nickels show wear, flat details, or blurry design elements. This is why a coin with strong details, sharp portrait lines, full Monticello steps, and clean surfaces stands out immediately as a more desirable example. The variety and error possibilities for the 1964 nickel also play a large role in collector interest. Some coins show double die characteristics, where parts of the lettering or details appear doubled because the die shifted during preparation. Doubling can appear on Liberty, the date, or parts of Monticello. These doubled dies are popular among collectors of rare nickels, and they can significantly increase a coin's desirability. There are also die cracks, die chips, clipped planchets, off-center strikes, and rotated dies that show up among 1964 nickels. Each of these error types can bring increased interest, because error nickels are appealing to collectors who seek unique coins created during the minting process. Another area of interest is the special strikes of 1964. Although not widely known, there were coins made under experimental or transitional conditions. These pieces stand out with sharper details, better luster, or unusual finishes compared to regular circulation coins. While the average collector might not encounter these coins often, the existence of such strikes keeps the 1964 nickel in conversations about rare and valuable US coins. Some collectors spend years examining rolls, bags, and collections searching for a sharp, high-quality example. One of the strongest reasons the 1964 nickel remains popular is the potential for value when a coin shows exceptional detail or certain varieties. Even though billions were produced, high-quality examples with strong steps, clean surfaces, and attractive appearance can be worth far more than face value. The typical worn 1964 nickel remains very common in circulation, but the rare, beautifully preserved, or error examples become far more desirable among collectors. Collectors today look for specific markers when evaluating a 1964 5-cent coin. The clarity of Jefferson's hair and cheek, the sharpness of the lettering, the definition of the Monticello columns, and the steps all play key roles. A strong strike where the steps at Monticello are completely separated and show full detail is considered one of the top traits collectors chase. These coins are much harder to find than many people expect, and this scarcity is what drives strong collector demand. Some enthusiasts search through hundreds or thousands of nickels trying to find a full steps example. For anyone collecting coins from circulation, looking through bankrolls, estate collections, and old jars of saved coins, the 1964 nickel often appears frequently. But while many examples are common, the chance of finding a rare error or an unusually sharp example keeps collectors searching. This is why the 1964 nickel is such a popular coin in the hobby. The combination of high mintage, interesting history, possible varieties, and a few rare and valuable types makes it exciting for both beginners and advanced collectors. Understanding the history behind the 1964 nickel also adds depth to its appeal. As the US Mint attempted to overcome the coin shortage of the early 1960s, they increased production dramatically, and the government even delayed the transition to newer mint marks until after the crisis was resolved. This unusual period in minting history makes the coins from 1964 unique because of the unusual volume and the pressure to produce coins quickly. This explains the weak strikes, die deterioration, and the wide range of quality seen among the coins. Collectors who study Jefferson Nickels also note that 1964 is the final year before the mint mark freeze, a decision made to prevent hoarding. From 1965 until 1967, coins were struck without mint marks. But in 1964, the traditional Denver D mint mark still appeared on the reverse. This makes the 1964 nickel the last widely minted nickel of the early era to carry a mint mark during a turbulent period in American coinage. In today's coin market, the 1964 nickel continues to appear in coin rolls, bags, and collections, and it remains one of the most talked about coins on social media, YouTube, and coin collecting forums. People search for it because of its potential to reveal hidden gems like rare errors, double dies, and strong full-step examples. Even though it's considered a common coin, the excitement of finding a valuable variety is what keeps collectors motivated.